This is a chi-squared test for association because it says association. So in this test, you're going to put your actual or observed counts, the 15, rather the 5, the 18, the 7, the 10, the 7, and the 3. We're going to put those in list 1. And then I've gone ahead and calculated the expected counts. So for instance, this 9 is the expected count using the column of 30, the row total of 15, 30 times 15, column total times row total divided by the table total of 50. So that's how we've calculated all of these expected counts. So the 15, for instance, column total of 30 times row total of 25 divided by the table total of 50. Now the expected counts, if they come out to be whole numbers like this, it's perfectly fine to leave it that way, but typically you'll get expected counts with decimals, so you can round them off to one decimal place, that's fine. You shouldn't round the expected counts to whole numbers, but you should write down and document the expected counts if you actually have to calculate them. You do need to list them, that's important. So I'm going to go ahead to my calculator then, and I'm going to clear what I have in list 1 and in list 2. So here I'll clear list 2. Come over here and clear list 1. And so I'm going to enter my actual counts. Those are 5, 18, 7, 10, 7, and 3. And then I'm going to go to list 2 and I'm going to enter the expected counts in the same order so that they correspond, actual and expected. The 5 is the actual, the 9 is the expected count that corresponds with it. So after the 9, next would be a 15, and then a 6, then another 6, and a 10, and a 4. So even though this is a test of association, you can go ahead and use the chi-squared goodness of fit command. So that's well down at the bottom, so you have to scroll down past the tests and past the intervals. We'll keep going. There it is. Chi-squared GOF test. I know that this is not a goodness of fit test. However, we're only using this command in order to get our statistic and our p-value. So the observed counts are in list 1. The expected counts are in list 2. The degrees of freedom then, so it is the number of columns. That would be 2, but take away 1. So our degrees of freedom are the number of columns, minus 1, times the number of rows, minus 1. So that's 1 times 2. So I have 2 degrees of freedom. Then I can get my chi-squared statistic and my p-value, and we should be in good shape. We can confirm what's on the handout already. There we go. So the chi-squared statistic, as on the handout, is 6.361, and the p-value is the 0.0416. This will work the same way if you're using the command or if you're using the calculator program, which I put on some of the TI-83s.